If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today's August 11th, 2020. And today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the Dow Jones breaks higher, breaking that resistance-ish level. We have not been here at these levels since pre-pandemic situation, which is a light possibly at the end of the tunnel. But first, let's take a look at the economic events of the day. So no major economic events scheduled for today, but looking at the markets and looking at the major currencies pretty much tapering off, while we're looking at a rotation in the indices. The Dow Jones, as I mentioned, breaks out higher, while the NASDAQ retraces. And the NASDAQ, remember guys, was the strongest index that was pushing us higher. So interesting to see these rotations actually taking place. Looking at the commodities, gold continues to retrace to close to 2,000. Oil is pretty much steady. And lastly, looking at the stocks, it's Alcoa, which I mentioned last week, which broke out from its resistance, and JP Morgan that is leading us higher. While, like I mentioned, everything that represents the NASDAQ, which are the FANG stocks plus Microsoft, are slumping. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trade. So we're going to first take a look here at the Euro USD at a weekly chart, just to give us perspective here. And really, as we're looking at it, you can see that we topped out at this 119.15 and then retracing. We've been in a tight range just as this week is starting out. And that's to be expected as it consolidates at this upper limit. What I do expect is a retracement maybe to this 115, 116-ish level, okay, as this retraces from its massive surge earlier in the month. Now, looking all together at the other currencies as well, we're in a tight range, really at 130.87. Looking at the GBP USD, looking at the USD ZAR, we broke that resistance, but we didn't sustain it. So this does look a little bit familiar as we're looking at the Euro USD as well, and making somewhat of a correction here as the rand has really depreciated versus the dollar. Now, jumping into commodities, looking at gold, retracing to 2,000 after hitting 2,072 last week. And that's to be expected, okay? Like I said, I expect it to be a 50% retracement. So somewhere at the 1950-ish level retracement might not happen today. May just jump over the moving average or just dip below it and then, maybe consolidate, as this has taken a massive surge this year. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, okay? This is what I'm talking about yesterday. Okay, we broke this 27,460-ish level. Now, we were trading just 24 hours ago just below it, okay? Right here at this 27,400-ish level, and it just perked up and continued perking up, and then massively breaking it with over 400 points breaking it. Now, what's important to note, if we look at a weekly chart, okay, we hit this level back in May, but we didn't break above it. And here today, we're breaking above it. So this is really the first time that we're coming to this level since September of last year. Now, we're only about less than 2,000 points from our all-time highs, something like 1,600 points from our all-time highs. So this is a massive correction. Now, what was the strength until now, as I mentioned before, was the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ was the one that carried us just last week, okay, to all-time record highs. And then it's slumping. Okay, so this is all to be expected, okay? Because ultimately, the Dow Jones is playing catch up to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ did consolidate at these levels. I don't call it just that it's selling off. I call it consolidation here at this upper limit, testing its boundaries, upper boundary, lower boundary, making new boundaries for itself as we enter into September, going into the end of the year. So something to consider. Now, when we look at the stocks, okay, the things that took us higher is the Dow Jones stocks, like Alcoa, which is listed on the Dow Jones. This beautiful breakout that we had last week, I mentioned, and this was a beautiful carry through, okay? You see that gap up, you see that gap there, okay? We gapped and goed, okay? And we went all the way to $16 from $13.50. That's a massive surge for a stock for this price, okay? That's really a tremendous surge. So with that said, the next real resistance-ish level is 1665. So something to consider as this continues to break out higher. Now, looking at JP Morgan, which is another big board stock, another Dow stock, hitting $100 a share, just below that 101. Now, if it does break that 101, I do expect it to rally above it. And then it may take us back to where we were in May. Okay, this is where we were in May. We traded all the way up to $116, and this may be a second coming, okay, of our ability to close above this 101 level and maybe challenge this 116 once again as we enter September. Now, I do expect the next 4 months to be tremendously volatile in the market, both because the pandemic is still in the back burner, or side burner, I guess you could call it. It's not really in the back burner. It's happening. The cases are surging around the world. It seems like it's just going through everybody, okay? So it's something that's still happening, and we're going into election year, okay? And that could go in either direction, okay? Generally, before an election, we do sell off. So lots of things coming off as we're entering the balance of the year. Now, another thing to really point out as we're looking at this, okay, is some of the other things that are going on in the markets, okay? Namely, looking at Apple just retracing here, but showing some tremendous strength, rallying back to close to its highs, okay? We're only $6 above its high, sustaining its retracement level. Looking at Facebook, somewhat sustaining its retracement level, just off $9, okay? Whereas Amazon, we see a different story. It looks like a triple top, okay? Which really may be the case, okay? So I expect, again, this rotation to continue with certain stocks being strong, okay, at one point, and then other stocks being strong another point, and then the rotation to happen again where, you know, they kind of switch character, okay? So with that said, I think that that's where we're going to go, and today's going to be a telltale sign because we're still in the summer months, and, you know, volatility is relatively weaker now, okay, than we were 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, even a month ago, okay? And that's really because we're trading during the summer. So just take it light, okay? I don't expect any massive moves in the markets, but keep it as light as possible because this is the time where the market's a little bit less volatile. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.